let's see, I think we're about to get underway here. Taka and Cruel, interestingly enough, are the bans. Now remember, these are global bans. These are bans which means that nobody from any of the teams can use these characters. So Taka and Cruel. So Cruel, an interesting ban here. I'd be interested to know what the logic is behind a Cruel ban. Which means, though, however, is that you're going to see Glaive open, and you're going to see Celeste open. You're going to see Koshka open. So some of these, there's the Glaive from Phobia being picked, and we're waiting for the character picks from Anonymous here.
Let's play pinball.
Welcome to everybody here from different countries, different places. We're all here together in one of the best games around here. This is Vainglory. We are currently looking at two teams go head-to-head here in the Southeast Asia tournament to see who is the best team in Southeast Asia. 18,000 ice at stake here, given to the winning teams. And it looks like we're underway. So we've got Catherines on both teams, a Rona on Anonymous, and a Celeste. They're going to go against a hard-hitting Glaive, which is a favorite in this meta. A standard Ringo, probably weapon, and a Catherine as well. So you're seeing Catherine being the tank of choice for Southeast Asia teams. Really interested to see Anonymous do this this team comp, however, with the Celeste, which we know is a very good endgame crystal-based character. But the Rona, and to see how the Rona will fit into this will be an interesting thing to see. It could help or hurt. But you know, we're always happy to see Rona play on stream here because we don't see it very often. Celeste starting off with the crystal bit, so this may be an indicator of an early aggression from Anonymous because you've got the weapon blade from Rona as well. So they're going to look at early aggression. They're going to look at pushing here, trying to steal some farm from Glaive. There goes the stun on Glaive. Look at the merciless pursuit and the damage already in on Glaive. He needs to get out. Ringo coming in from the backside. The Helio's not hitting their mark, however. He's gonna miss that. He just missed that scout trap. That would have hurt him a lot. And they're in a mode of trying to escape here. But there's a stun in. 121 damage. Look at how Ringo is going down. But there goes Rona already, dropping him as well. There goes Ringo. So now it's 2v2. Anonymous pulling back. There goes the afterburn in on Celeste. They're looking at the focus on Celeste. She can't get caught by that Glaive, and she does. So, you know, the big thing with Celeste, you know, is she has to maintain her distance. She has to maintain her distance, or else Glaive will just melt her, like yesterday's grilled cheese sandwich that I had, which is really delicious. But here comes Orange Team back again. Look at the damage onto Rona. Glaive just dominant here. Look at the damage from Glaive, taking out two enemies almost single-handedly there. This is looking really bad for Team Anonymous here, who thought they had something with their early invasion, didn't pull off, and then backfired on them, and that's going to result in Blue Team going up in gold, 1.5k to 200 gold. That is ridiculous, folks. That is just absurd. That's should be almost illegal to be that much ahead in the second minute. But there you go. And this is one of the things that devs were talking about. They're talking about, you know, the early invasion and, you know, some tweaks that they wanted to make to prevent the dominant early invasion that happened in the previous patches. And for the most part, I think they've been really successful. I mean, if you look at a lot of the way the teams have changed their playstyle, there's hardly any early aggression, mainly because of that exact reason. For what you saw here was that it can backfire, and when it backfires on you, it is a huge backfire. You lose your entire jungle. And so you're seeing, for those of you guys who play with your teams, you're seeing the merits for not doing an early invasion. And the funny thing is for those of you who played the game when it first came out, in version 1.1, 1.2, there's a gank in on Celeste in the lane. What you're seeing here is you're seeing actually a lot of the structure how it used to be. So in 1.1, 1.2, everybody went to their respective areas and farmed, and that was how you played the game in the early days. And now you're kind of seeing it go full circle and seeing that coming all around. Now it's a 3v2. We'll see if Glaive is able to carry this damage. Here comes the stun in on Glaive. He needs to get away from the Heliogenesis, however. He's got that healing minion though. Ringo's coming across. There goes Celeste. The afterburn goes in. 173 damage on that hit. Here comes Ringo in on Catherine. Is he going to now come across and take out Jason? I think he can. There's a stun coming in. Will it be quick enough? No, I don't think so. Oh, it's 173 damage on that critical swipe. Ringo going down and blue team taking 2 turn aggros. So it's messy. It's a messy, crazy fight right now, guys, in the jungle. But you're seeing the dominance of Glaive. And I don't want to use the term OP, but you're seeing how powerful Glaive is now. And Glaive is strong in almost all aspects of the game. Early game, mid game, late game. He can just destroy you. And that's what he's there for. He is a cat with a major, huge rocket axe that should destroy you. But with that said, you know, there are ways with stuns and holds. And, you know, a good counter to Glaive, I would say, is Celeste. So I would say the Celeste is a good counter in Glaive because Glaive needs to be close enough to you to do that damage. Whereas once Celeste has Overdrive on that A skill, she can pop in Heliogenesis in on Glaive and kill him off before he can even get to her. Now, again, if you are playing Celeste, I recommend getting an early reflex block so that you can block those afterburns so that you're not getting stunned and knocked back from Glaive, because as you've seen in the beginning of the game here happening to Celeste, that's exactly what Glaive is looking to do, is knock Celeste back into his enemy team and just destroy her. You're seeing Rona also. Now the issue with Rona right now is Rona is, you know, the big builds for Rona these days are running double Serpent's Mask, are running Breaking Point, things like this. You know, Shinkaigan's Rona build being one of the best Rona builds you can use right now. What that means, however, is that she's quite weak in the early game, because when you're building onto the Serpent's Mask, until you get the heavy steel for the Serpent's Mask, you're not going to have hardly any weapon damage. And Rona also doesn't have a super high HP or high armor in the beginning, first 2 levels either. So you have to be a little bit careful when you are playing Rona in the jungle like this, especially against a Glaive who's just going to steamroll over her. Now, you're seeing also in the lane, let's go to the lane here real quick. The minion's being pushed up against the orange turret. That's going to leave Jason kind of by himself there. Needs to clear the farm quick. So now Jason can make a big difference here. If the team plays it safe, if Orange Team plays it safe, and Jason is able to get enough farm to get an early broken myth, that is going to be the key for Orange Team. So they are going to need to rely upon the damage of the Celeste to be able to change the game, the course of the games. Now that's also going to be a problem. There goes an ultimate, which misses. Both the core collapse and the ultimate missing. Jason now having almost no energy to do anything. They need to be very, very careful here. No reflex block either. That Glaive is just looking to just get a piece of her action. Here comes the ultimate. Nice stun from Raven onto the Ringo, and Jason's gonna try to get out of range of the Glaive. Raven's super trouble there. Raven drops immediately, but spares the life of both Jason and Rona. But again, they're gonna lose farm on this. So a good stun from Raven to cancel out the Hellfire Brew ultimate from Ringo. But staying too long in that fight meant that they gave up that kill to blue team. And the goal difference continues to widen, 8.0k to 1.8k in the 8th minute of the game. This is not good for Orange Team at all. So there comes Raven in, singled out, and just getting killed off. So you're seeing them get split. They need to stick together now. They can't split away from each other. They need to worry about the turret as well. I think Glaive is not really fearing them at the moment. He's going to probably look. There goes the Achilles heel strike. 460 damage. Look at the damage that Ringo is doing as a crystal Ringo. And the reason why he was able to do 416 damage in that last engagement was because he had built 3 stacks up by hitting the turret. So with Broken Myth, you get a lot of the power comes from your stacks, your 3 stacks, which do 30% amplification of any crystal or ability damage. Now what you saw there is he had 3 stacks from building up the stacks from taking down the turret, and so when he hit Celeste, who has no damage or no defensive items at that time, just melted her. And you're also seeing Glaive. Let's take a look at Glaive's build here for a second. So Glaive's build early tension bow. So a lot of Glaives are running this early tension bow. They are running breaking point, and then defense. So the tension bow in the early game, that 180 proc combined with his other abilities, just does massive amounts of damage really quickly. And so in early game tension bow, that does do a lot of damage for him. And so a lot of Glaive players are running tension bow. There are different ways to do it. You know, he's looking to basically close out the game quickly with that tension bow. For me and for some other players, maybe you look at getting breaking point first and then weapon speed, maybe tornado trigger. Some like to rush that Sorrow Blade and go Sorrow Blade, Blazing Salvo, and some critical as well. So there are a lot of different ways to play Glaive right now because he's probably one of the most versatile characters right now in the game. He can even do support. He can. Oh, there goes a core collapse in on them. They're looking for the ambush. Going for it. There, Hellfire Brew is teed up. Knocked back in on Celeste. She gets hit by that. Look at the damage again from Glaive. Here comes the boots and the Merciless Pursuit coming in 1 second. It's open. Joe gets hit by that. That's going to be it for her. Here comes the Afterburn in. And yes, it deletes her as well. So you're looking at the dominance of Phobia. Really, really strong. One of the strongest teams in Southeast Asia. Just putting down Anonymous in a very, very ugly but beautiful way. I mean, they are just clearly showing their dominance. No mercy here. No mercy at all. But kudos for Team Anonymous for sticking it out. You know, as they say in America, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. And that's how we have it going. Now, there's a core collapse in on Glaive, who's pulled out a little bit. But it's all part of his game plan because he goes with the Blood Song and deletes Rona. Rona not making any difference in this game whatsoever. Again, you know, you're looking at Rona's build here. All she's got is a Serpent's Mask and a Dragon Heart. That is not enough damage for the team. They're not going to be winning team fights. Jason has gone for Frostburn. That to me is a really, really interesting thing to do because they're being pushed so hard. Celeste being the only damage dealer in the team. Look at the items. The only damage other than Serpent's Mask, which has a built-in plus 90 weapon power, the main source of damage is going to come from Celeste. And she has decided to go for Frostburn and not for Broken Myth, which I am very puzzled by that. Very, very puzzled by why you wouldn't go for Broken Myth here. Broken Myth allows you to make up a lot of that damage, lack of damage items. I almost consider Broken Myth 2 items in one. It's like a pure damage item plus, you know, plus like a critical item as well. So it's got like burst, but then it's also got just pure straight up power. And it's just a great item. It's just a great item for most CP characters, I would say. So it looks like Phobia is going to take their time here. They're not going to do anything too drastic here. Here comes a Hellfire Brew and the ultimate. That hits Jason for 546. Here comes ultimate. The ultimate just deletes her. Doesn't even need to use his Blood Song to finish her, and look at the crumpled body. It's so sad and looks very, very alone. Crumpled there in front of the spawn. Look, just can't do any damage. The 549 damage to Rona with a 408 damage follow-up. Glaive is just destroying them. They're trying to lock down Glaive, but here comes Ringo in with that hit in on Jason, but he gets deleted super fast because he's not running any defense except for a tier 1 light shield. So he got caught out in that battle, and that allowed Orange Team to kind of rebound here, and I would look at Orange Team to make a heavy push, maybe even go for the gold mine. They need to do something really drastic right now. They need to kill Glaive if they can, or they need to just push him out and get farm. They need to do something drastic here to change the tides. I would say go for a gold mine if you can. Force that fight. It's a 3v2 right now. It's a 3v2. Force a fight with the gold mine. There's no minion candy on the gold mine. But it looks like they're just going to farm up. Ringo's pulled out. He's not with his team. There's a core collapse. Glaive has been locked down. His afterburn is not up, so he can't escape. But they're not doing much damage. Celeste is now pulled into the fight. There goes the afterburn. Knockback. The minion miner is aggroed and he's angry. Glaive, does he go down? He goes down, but here comes Ringo across with the Hellfire Brew. Just deletes out Rona. That blood mist coming in way too late to be any help. You know, one Serpent's Mask is just not enough health steal for Rona, even when you're doing the blood mist ultimate there. Looks like Raven is going to... Oh, Raven! Oh! Almost got away there. Almost got deleted right there in the spawn. Missed ultimate from Jason. NCS. Getting a clipping Cyranio a little bit, but not enough to do much damage. And now you have a 90-second cooldown on that ultimate. You know, for me, I really recommend you be careful when you use that ultimate. It can be devastating, but don't waste it. Don't waste it. It's a 90-second cooldown. You want to have it when you need it, right? Level differential is huge now, and you're looking at Glaive now get that heavy steel to buff some of his late game damage. He's got a fountain, which is interesting. You know, you would think go for an Aegis. Go for an Aegis, I would say. But they're gonna go for the Kraken right now. The enemy is pulled far away. There goes the flare. Always a good idea to flare before you take the Kraken. Although I think you should flare a little bit later. There it is. There's that flare there, and that's what you want to do when you take the Kraken. Is you want to have that vision. So the double flaring there is really important. They're trying to transport home. Oh, but Celeste stayed the mine, and the core collapse comes into play. But look at that. Look at the damage that Glaive is doing. No one can stand a chance. This is GG. Pop the champagne. Go home. Make yourself some spaghetti. This is it for Team Anonymous, who may remain anonymous, maybe. Didn't make a good showing in the game today, guys. But kudos to them for coming out and trying, however, and showing us what they can do. They've just facing an overwhelmingly powerful force, and that powerful force is called Phobia. And there they are. They are the winners of this match. Dominant play. Man of the match has to go out to Glaive for Team Phobia. Just wrecking face with that rocket axe. And that is why in this current meta, Glaive is the character of choice. He's also double infused, just to add insult to injury. He double infused at that last fight as well. 15, 2, and 5 with 127 CS. He is the man of the match. Looking at the builds here, Ringo going with Crystal, probably to balance out with the heavy weapon of Glaive. Interesting choice. Was very, very squishy and was killed off, but it didn't matter as Glaive was carrying a lot of the team. I think not having any defense for Ringo allowed him to spend more money and get that Broken Myth altering current early. but he died first in almost all the battles. For Orange Team, you have Rona on the side here, not really doing much difference here, trying to rush that Serpent's Mask, but not making a big difference, and still pretty squishy in the early game. Meant that it was largely a 3v2 battle in a lot of the fights. Jason CS playing the Celeste for the Orange Team. I think it's a big mistake if you don't get that Broken Myth. Instead, Celeste rushed the Frostburn, and no reflex block means that Glaive is going to be able to knock you back into the enemy every single time. And granted, you have Catherine that also has a stun, so it's a deadly combo. The Catherine and the Glaive double stun chain, super deadly, combined with the Achilles heel slow effect from Ringo, means that if they focus on Celeste, that's it. They have no other damage, they have no other carry, and once Celeste is out of the way, it's simple work for them to take on Rona and Catherine. And that's the end of that game. 22-5, 17-minute, 30-second game. Congratulations to Phobia for dominating and showing us that win.